This call is now being recorded.
Good morning, dear participants and all the dignitaries present over here. Today is the third day of our 10 days capacity development program international workshop on research in practice organized by Department of Education, Siddhinath Mahavidyalaya in collaboration with Swami Vivekananda University, Barakpur, Kolkata, and also in collaboration with CTPD, that is Center for Teachers Professional Development, India. So today we are going to start our session with none other than Dr. Professor Prachita Bishwas, Professor, Department of Education, Swami Vivekananda University, Barakpur, Kolkata. Now I am going to describe her brief profile. Professor Dr. Prachita Bishwas is PhD in Education, also MA in Education and MPhil in History, B.Ed, M.Ed and also MA in Psychology. She is a distinguished scholar, teacher educator and an author in the field of teacher education. She has more than 18 years of experience in teaching, academic administration, research and consultancy projects. She is the president.
I think there is a network error. Shamosri, there is a network error. We cannot hear.
No, not network. Actually, the participants are joining, and if I am going to join them, the screen is disappearing. So
Just
I'm
I
while
would Shamosri ma'am, I would just like to suggest you one thing. Since some of our participants are quite serious in their approach, so it is better that you stop the waiting list for some time. You let them join after the program starts. And after some time, after 10 minutes, we will lock the meeting. Because there are some participants who are very punctual, who are joining at a very proper time, but we cannot allow more than 15 minutes has gone and it is becoming very problematic for us. Okay, so let them be in the waiting room.
introduction, and after that I will join authored and we write 100 Women Achievers of the Year award organized by Code Bharat. She was awarded with the prestigious South Asian Scholarship Grant from the Tokyo University of Foreign Studies for her research work on women education. She is an NLP coach and a firm believer in lifelong learning process. She is regularly invited in national and international seminars, conferences, symposiums, and webinars. She is the editorial board member and reviewer of reputed journals in national and international levels. She is also the invited member of various reputed academic bodies of higher education as well as research domains. She was also the leader and facilitator of Jagriti Yatra 2013, a entrepreneurship national entrepreneurship development program. Her research interests include inclusive education, lifelong learning, gender studies, and history of education. So, we are very much fortunate that such a resourceful person is being invited among us to deliver her lecture on qualitative research of different dimensions. So, I am requesting her to start her deliberation.
Okay, thank you, Tamosri. It's been a pleasure that you have introduced myself, and I am very thankful to Siddhinath Mahavidyalaya, Shami Vivekananda University, as well as Council for Teachers Professional Development to start this at a very short short notice, but still we have been successful in organizing this 10 days capacity long workshop. And as I always believe that participants participation is very important. So as a result of that, this participation has also basically very much encouraged us to speak, to deliberate on newer topics. And my area of research is basically qualitative research. And since this is totally a research workshop which deals with a lot of dimensions, a lot of policies, and lot of plagiarism. Tomorrow we will be having the sessions on academic writing as well as regression model analysis. So for a change, we have put this in the middle, that is qualitative research, its different dimensions. So let me tell you some introduction about that before I go to the PPT. That qualitative research is basically a very long process actually. So we cannot just send it in only one lecture, or we cannot end it in a way that qualitative research is not something which can be concluded, to tell you very frankly. It is something which is very important. And at the same time, as you see, that qualitative research in different dimensions. Okay, so this dimension is something which you find that a lot of things are very much interrelated, and we find that a lot of things which are very much carefully maintained in this qualitative research, so as to see that there are different dimensions which we follow in a very proper way. And as we see that it is being done in a totally question answer method or qualitative method, something which is very much closer to a lot of ways, a lot of activities through which we do. Okay, and at the same time, what I will do right now is I will stop sharing for the time being. I will put it in a very medium mode, because first I need to say something about qualitative research. Otherwise, it becomes quite tedious. And since I am a teacher, more than any author or any other designation I belong, I believe that I am more than that, I am a teacher. Okay, so as a result of that, I would like you to take a pen and a paper, because it is a workshop only. Okay, and if you can please take out your pen and paper And if you can write something, and I will be also interacting with you. Please remember that I will also be interacting with you, because this interaction will lead to good and fruitful ways. Okay, so qualitative research, to tell you very frankly, there are many aspects of qualitative research. So this is first of all one-on-one interview. Okay, at the same time, if you can write down, that would be very much good for you, and it will be good for the research scholars as well as for the eminent persons who are also in this workshop. I know a lot of associate professors, assistant professors, even professors are in this workshop. But let me tell you one thing, that learning is something which we believe it is a lifelong learning process. Learning does not stop. So as a result of that, what is there is, we will have to do it in a very proper way, so that we know that what are the types of qualitative research. We all know that qualitative research is something which is dependent on a lot of ideas, lot of applications, lot of variables. But if we go into the qualitative research, since I am only focusing on the dimensions, so if you can write down, for my angle, what I have basically faced is, we should first go for the one-to-one interview. During my research time, I have taken a lot of one-to-one interview, and at the same time, there has been the case study research also. That is a part of qualitative research, and this is actually a part of the qualitative research methods. Also, we will be looking after the focus groups. That is the third point, that is the focus groups, which are very important for the qualitative research methods. We also have to keep the records, that is record keeping. Record keeping is something you know very well. That depends a lot of manual work previously, but now record keeping has become very, very interesting. It has become very methodical. Why? Because we know very well that there are a lot of softwares, a lot of things through which we do the record management. So for the qualitative research, the manual aspects actually has become quite less tedious than previous. And then I will actually focus on this part, because it is very, very important, not only for the social science persons, but it is also important because it is also related somewhat to science. Okay? It is both a science and the arts. So this is actually a type of a qualitative research method, which is known as ethnographic research method. And of course, one thing which we will also learn while going to know about ethnographic research method or about the qualitative research method, that is the process of observation. If you are not observing, if you are not doing something which is out of your observation, then it becomes totally a very boring affair. Because you won't be able to know that what is going on and what is happening. And as a result of that, you can see that a lot of things are there which are very much important for us and for us to observe. In fact, in our daily life also, we find that a lot of things which are being very much important, we have to observe actually. If we are not observing, and as you can see, that there is actually the types of qualitative research which I have shared on this screen. And Shambhusri ma'am, I would like to share also with you that there has been some technical error. So as a result of that, I will not be able to do it full screen. But to the participants, I am telling you that this will be in the recording mode, so you will get it in the recording prospects. And at the same time, today, after this session, because you will be needing it for your preparation of your research proposal, I will be sharing the PPTs. I will be sharing 2 PPTs in the PPT or PDF format in the group itself. I hope it will be okay for you, because for a very small screen, you may not be able to see. from the mobile, you will be able to see, but there is some technical nuances or problems. As a result of that, I will not be able to do it in a full screen. I hope that you will all be okay with it. And as I told you, that after this, we will be basically doing this sharing thing after this session gets over. And regarding punctuality, ethnographic research is also very much related to punctuality. If you are doing
Interesting.
something, if it is doing in a very proper mode, if you are not doing it in a very tedious way, then it becomes quite a bit boring and it becomes very much problematic for everyone, not for one person, but for the group, for the focus group, for everyone. So therefore, the qualitative research methods allow us in-depth, and it allows us to become a probing and questioning of the respondents based on their responses. The interviewer and the researcher, of course, they tries to understand their motivation and feelings, understanding level, how the audience makes decisions. They can derive conclusions in different types of qualitative research methods. Though today I will be focusing on the ethnographic part, because ethnographic part, to tell you, is very important. We all know more or less that what is qualitative research, but we will focus mainly on the ethnographic research. And as you can see, I have here given a diagram where I have already given this in a lecture method. Now I am doing it in a presentation way. These are the different types of qualitative research methods, and I will be focusing on the ethnographic research. Okay, and if there is any question related to this, I would like you to please ask me in the chat box. That would be very good for you, and we will be able to interact, because I don't want a class which is to let me tell you full of someone who is listening. I don't know whether you are listening or not listening, but I want some audience to actually participate with me, so that I will be able to know that how much you are learning, since it is a workshop. Okay, and at the same time, if you can look in our capacity building program group, you can see, if you can see the WhatsApp, I have already shared a diagram. Okay, so if you can respond through chat that if you have been able to see that, just write a yes or a no. I have shared a diagram in the WhatsApp group. So can any one of you respond that whether they can see? Okay, thank you so much. I really like this interaction, at least in the chat box. So here are the types of qualitative research methods. I hope you can able to see it very clearly. And we will now focus mainly on the ethnographic part. Okay. Now, ethnographic research is something which is very important and a very pertinent way through which we manage these things. Okay. And as a result, we find that a lot of things are there which is very much important for our methodology, our different types of actions, different types of processes through which we find that it is very important for our persistency, for our way of thinking, that how ethnographic research is basically paving the way. Okay, now ethnographic research relates to a lot of records. I mean, record keeping. Now, this record keeping is something which is very important for all of us, because if we are not recording, or if you are not doing it in a proper way, then it becomes very much problematic for everyone. Okay. Now, we find that ethnographic art is something which is very important for everyone, because ethnographic art or ethnographic research method is a policy or it's a process where we find that a lot of persons are very much involved in this ethnographic art or in this ethnographic activity. Now, ethnographic activity is something which is related to a lot of art form, a lot of materials which are very much interrelated, which our context of research, it becomes very important. Now, I see that a lot of people are joining even after Shamustin, and please look after this matter, because this is something which is totally not a very disciplinary thing. So we should actually see that, take it very seriously, because some of the participants have very much come at 11, 20 or 25, but some of the participants are joining now. So we should be very much strict. Okay, and you know very much that being a person of discipline, we always believe in this disciplinary action. Okay. So as I have told you that this qualitative method, which is a part of the a process of the ethnography, so we find that a lot of things which are interrelated with us, and ethnographic art is very much interrelated. We find that a lot of things which are very much in this process, and we find that this process is very much important, not only for our knowledgeable aspect, but it is very much important that in the context of interview setup, we find that ethnography is very much related also to library catalog. We find that a lot of books, these are basically the secondary sources. I will tell about the primary sources a bit later. But regarding the secondary sources, as I can tell you, that this field is very much related to something which is a secondary source of way of nature, and dealing with the prospect of some interview. Now, for example, when we are going for the interview process, when we are speaking about the one-to-one process. Now, one-to-one process leads to a lot of things, which I will come one by one. But let me tell you step by step, since ethnographic research relates to a lot of things where we take the interview setting. Okay. So first, when we deal with a research or with a research problem, and when we are dealing with a qualitative research problem, so there we will not be able to find some of the sources. We will be going to the field. We will be going to have the field observations for that research. Now, to tell you very frankly, during the field observations, when we are going for the field work research, wherever you go, you will have to become very cautious. Why I am telling you that you have to become very cautious? This is because there are very, very important calls. First, you have to deal with the culture of the people. If you are not dealing with the culture of the people, let me tell you that if you are from Bengal, from West Bengal, since we all are a part of Bengal, if you are from a larger Delhi or Greater Noida, because CTPT is also located there, you will have to see that what is the culture of that particular people. Now, if you are not following that culture, then you should not be in for ethnographic research. Because first of all, when you are going for the culture, for a lot of backgrounds, a lot of works you have to do. In fact, nowadays it has become very easy. You can search the name and see that what is the culture. If you want to see, if you are doing a qualitative research on some important person, there also you will be able to see that a lot of persons are very much interested on you. but you won't be able to know that they are doing it in a wrong side or in a good side. Maybe they will try to do it in a way that they will try to mint money from. Okay, so the researcher has faced a lot of issues related to that. Okay, so as we feel that this ethnographic research, we feel that qualitative research is field work and it is very easy. But to tell you very frankly that qualitative research does not involve not only field work, it is dependent on a lot of factors. Okay, so you have to go, you have to meet the persons, you have to actually take a back check of their calculation, you have to calculate that what is their way of thinking, what is their way of speaking, what is their culture. You even should not imagine that you should not actually take them for granted also. Okay, so that is something when you are setting up a one-to-one meeting. To tell you very frankly, when you are setting up a one-to-one meeting, you will find that there are a lot of persons who will also discourage you. For example, I will be giving you a live example of myself. I have done a qualitative research which is specialized in ethnographic research in the Ladakh region. So I have done it once, and during that time, I have found out I have actually really spent a lot of time on the culture of the people. Because when you are going from an outside angle, please remember that you are basically doing it at a very outsider. As an outsider, you will not be welcomed perhaps. There are many tourist spots where you will be given a warm welcome. So that is totally a different thing. And if you want to disguise your identity, that is something which is also not very good. This should not be good, because if for the time being, if they come to know about it, then they will not take it in a very good way or in a very good manner, right? So as a result of that, it becomes very much problematic as well as tedious for the person to actually see that what is the culture. But since you are doing ethnographic research, it is very much related to the quality. So as a result of that, it becomes very important for all of you, and it, in fact, it becomes very pertinent that you should actually take a very close look at the culture of those people. Now, those people are someone who are very much important part of that culture. So you should be giving a very close look and the importance on that persons who are very much cultural in their angle. And at the same time, when you are looking at the one-to-one interview process, you should actually check. You should actually check that whether if you are taking that as a primary source, you should actually check that if that person is really dependable. If that person is really dependable, if that person is really very much organized, if that person, maybe he, maybe she, is very much knowledgeable, we should not be looking after persons who are academically profound. Let me tell you, that is my example, my experience. I have taken it as a lifelong example that don't think that only highly educated, knowledgeable persons are those who are actually giving you a lot of information. That is actually not the case. That should not be actually the case. Okay. So as a result of that, you will have to depend on certain persons who are very much important, who are at the same time looking after these things at a very good level, at a very important level, and they should be able to give you the information at a very proper way. By the way, participants, since there is a technical fault, I have shared with you this thing. in the WhatsApp capacity building group. So I hope that you will be able to see it. I am going into the third slide. So simultaneously, I will be requesting you all, since there is always a technical glitch, and you may get bored if I continuously speak. So there should be something which is a visual in front of you. So you can go to the fourth slide, and you can see that I have already shared the PDF, and I hope that it will not be now a problem for you all, as this is also a visual angle which I take the help of. If the PPT is failing in the screen, then the WhatsApp group is always there to help us. Okay. So when we are going for also ethnographic cycle of interview, we also have to go and find some books. I have given a lot of references. So those who are going for qualitative research with a dimension on this ethnographic art or ethnographic research, you will have to go through a lot of books. You will have to go and visit to a lot of libraries. Now you will find that there are certain libraries which are assigned to items in the catalog which are very much related to your topic. But to some who are doing in a very different or uncommon topic, it is not possible, and it is very easy to find the books on a very comfortable zone. But I would suggest that you take it in a very proper way, that it is better not always to take the common topic. Okay, because common topics are very much there in our syllabus, in our books. So when we are doing research, it is not good to go for common topic. Even if you, let me tell you, even if there is an argument or logic, always, to tell you very frankly, that I may find out some new dimensions. But it is always good, especially related to ethnographic art and ethnographic research angles, to find books, to find out a lot of things which is very much importantly handled in a lot of years, and we will be able to find out the reference. At the same time, if we see the next slide, we will see that there are sample searches which I have given. Now, participants, let me tell you, those who are, you will be presenting your proposal to our evaluators in the very next few days. And please take it very seriously, because some of you will be going for qualitative research. Now, if your research proposal will be on the context of qualitative, this PPTs or PDFs will be helping you a lot. At the same time, if you are not listening to the lectures, then of course only the PDF will not help, to tell you very frankly. So you will have to be very much serious in your approach, and since it's a workshop, it becomes actually automatically very serious. So we will have some sample searches, as you can see. If you can open the PDF simultaneously, you will be seeing that there is a slide, or there is a PDF on sample searches. That's the fourth and the fifth. The heading is sample searches. And there are a lot of ethnic groups. Anthropology is very much related to this. And we find that a lot of things are happening nowadays. To tell you, for example, many persons, in fact, if you go into the Shod Ganga, you will see that many persons are actually researching on tattooing. You know what is a tattoo? Can you let me know? If someone, can you write yes or no? Do you know what is a tattoo? Because I would like to know that whether you know or not. But do you know what is a tattoo, or you don't know what is a tattoo? If anyone can write in the message box. Yes, participants, I am speaking to you. I hope I am audible. So do you know what is a tattoo? Can you write that? Is
Actually,
it a
ma'am,
yes
your
or a
network
no?
is not so good. So you cannot be heard sometimes. You are not audible sometimes.
Okay, okay. So I am writing in the chat box. Okay, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Right now, am I audible properly?
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Now you are
yes, yes.
audible.
Now you are.
So participants, I have written something in the chat box. Okay. So do you know what is a tattoo? So someone has written that yes. So since I have already repeating you that my presentation is not basically a lecture. Please don't take me for granted that I am actually giving you a lecture. Please, so I would like you all to respond. I hope I am understood. So it is very good that Bobita ma'am, Surendra ji, then Priyanka, at the same time Mona Lisa, they have given a definition of a tattoo. Okay. So as you can see that a tattoo is something which is very true. It is a form of body modification made by inserting tattoo ink dyes. I am reading out what Mona Lisa ma'am has written. And pigments either indelible or temporary into the dermis layer of the skin to form a design. Now, participants, I hope you know that tattoo is very much related to some cultures. Okay. So, as tattoo is very much related to cultures, we can find that there are a lot of research nowadays which is based on tattoos. Okay. So we find that lot of tattoo making things are there, and as a result of that, there are a lot of cultures where you will have to go and you will have to find out that what are the types of cultures, what are the types of background work through which the tattoos are being made. And at the same time, when you are going for this keyword versus subject searching, you should be very much able to know that I am giving you an example because tattooing is something which is becoming very interesting for all of us for the time being. So when I speak, I actually don't deal on this very typical type of a research titles. I deal with very much interesting objects like tattooing and for example which I am giving, and it becomes very interesting for the listener to know that this is actually something which is a new research dimension. It is not something which is totally out of the box, but at the same time, it is becoming a very interesting thing. So, keyword versus subject searching, you will have to see when you are searching tattooing and history and New Zealand, you will also have to give the subject search as tattooing Oceania history. If you are going for the keyword search for Mexico and ball game, then you will have to see the subject search of Aztec, social life and custom. At the same time, if I am speaking about the Western world, at the same time, if we are giving the keyword search of Inca and government, then Inca's politics and government, you will have to give the subject search. Now, how you will be finding the articles? I have given a lot of reference since it is a workshop. I believe that lot of references are very much needed. So
art full text and art retrospective we will find in the Wilson Wave. We will be also finding in the JSTOR libraries. Project Muse is something which is very important for all of us to know and understand. That it becomes very much important for all of us actually to know that what is this project, what is this research, and what are the types of ways and organizations through which we are actually dealing with this. Okay. Now, we will also be having a bibliography of the history of art, which is BHA, Design and Applied Arts Index. All of this are very much available on the net. When you are preparing your research proposals, you will be able to get help from this. Not only regarding the qualitative research, many of you may not be knowing the sources, but you will also be knowing about the sources related to the quantitative research also. I have given some websites which is also related to art history resources on the web and the timeline of art history also. You can have a look at all those because these sources are very much important to know about the origin of the empire, for example, when we are going for the history and when we are going for the Egyptian civilization also, for example, we find that there are a lot of things which are very much important and pertinent for us to understand that lot of things which are very much related with ethnography. And it is very important for us to know and understand the real origin behind this. So one of the main sources, as you can see, it is selected museum sites. Okay. So I have given some references here. There are a lot of references, but if you want to see it online, if you are doing a research on anthropology, which is very much dependent, or it may be a secondary source as a museum site or something, then you will be able to see that a lot of websites are there who will be able to help you. You may not be knowing about all of them. So I have actually given it in a phase by phase way. It is your homework actually to see it. And if needed, I will answer your questions. I am in more or less, I am in each and every session. So if you need any question answer session, Q&A, even after this workshop session is over, I will be able to help you before the presentation which the evaluators will be taking. Okay, so you are always welcome. Now we will also see that there are a lot of anthropology, archaeology and ethnography websites where you find actually there is a mind gap, mind block. We find that ethnographic research is only field research and we don't actually see that there are a lot of resources on the web also. So especially these are the Western ways where we find, but anthropology, archaeology and ethnography has a lot of websites. For example, this anthropology resources on the internet from the American Anthropological Association. We also find CSA Guide to Archaeological Processes and Projects. At the same time, the Pre-Columbian Art Research Institute, the Resources in Ethnographic Studies, UCSB Department of Anthropology Links Directory, and at the same time, Art and Life in Africa Online. So you will find a lot of resources I have shared with you because it will become easy for you to search all this. Now, if we are going to deal with the ethnography on a cano shell, that we find that there are a lot of ways, a lot of masks, lot of face masks, which is there. And of course, regarding the primitive art, antiques, art and culture, you will find that there are a lot of terms which we will be able to use. Okay. Now, what are those terms? Those terms are something which is very important to know because if we are not searching those terms, then of course, we will not be able to know that it is also there in the internet. So you will have to actually give the possible search terms as Papua New Guinea, Sepik River, Oceania, Cano Shells. So these are some of the ways through which you will have to deal with the primitive art. You will have to get the secondary sources. And this is the search process. As I have told you that ethnographic research is very, very much long. It cannot be actually ended in a one lecture of 1.5 hours or 2 hours or something like that. So it is something which is very important, and at the same time you will have to search a lot of things. Even if you go for your interview, one-to-one interview on the spot, this is the background search. This is the background search. So
You are not
this is
audible.
the okay. So this is the background search. Am I audible now? Yeah, Shamotri ma'am, am I audible now?
Yes, now you are audible.
So the thing is that when we go into this search process, you will see that there are a lot of databases. Okay. So this is more specific in a database when you are looking for the new Genia, when you are going for a general search, and you will have to see that a lot of catalogs are there. I have already shared the catalog websites in the previous sites, and now it is there in the capacity building program group, where you find that the PDF is there. You will be finding that I have shared in the third or the fourth slide a lot of searches which are there in the catalog, like JSTOR and Willy, etc. Okay. Now, if we are going for the ethnographic research regarding the description of object on, for example, Cleveland of Art Museum website. So there we will have to give the location, we will give the subject, we will have to give the period, we will have to give the related ideas. Actually, these are all the background search. Actually, the background search. This background search is something which is very important, very pertinent. And for example, if we are going for ethnographic research related to someone, the head of a king of the 7th century king of Nigeria, Edo, Benin city, which is made of bronze. Now, if we are going for this ethnographic research, if we are going for this art and culture way, there you will have to search first before going to that spot. The location, the subject, the medium, and the person. At the same time, you will have to search with the time period and the related ideas. Let me tell you one thing. In the research, when we are doing some secondary source searching in the website, or when we are taking the help of the internet, let me tell you one little thing that you should all know. Many of us actually suffer from the terms. This I am actually trying to help you. I am actually trying to help you in a very proper way, so that I will be able to tell you in a very long manner. Now, up till now, I would like to stop and give you a 5 minutes thinking process, and I would request you to give me a exercise of asking me questions. So, Shamosri ma'am, is it all right? Because I have shared a lot of sources and they have their presentations, right? So, Shamosri ma'am, will that be okay if I give them 5 minutes time to think and ask me questions? Shamosri ma'am, are you there? So, participants, I think that Shamosri
Yes, I am
ma'am,
here, but you are not audible properly. Last, I could
okay,
not hear nothing last 2 minutes.
Also, and am I audible now? Because everyone is saying that they are audible, that I am audible. I think there is a network error. I think
Yes,
from
yes,
your
very much
side,
network.
no, from your side, there may be a network error because many of the participants have said that they can hear me.
Okay, I'm joining through for my phone net. Actually, I have joined through college Wi-Fi. Okay, I'm
Okay, you
changing my
trying to
net.
participants, I would please request you to please ask me questions. Okay, I am giving you 5 minutes for that. Okay, and then again, I after your questions, I am taking that questions and I will be proceeding. I hope it is okay.
Hello, ma'am. Priyanka Verma wants to ask you something. Priyanka, ma'am, please unmute and ask your question.
Priyanka, ma'am, please, you are most welcome. Can you unmute? Okay. So Kono shield is nothing. It is actually a primitive form of art, Priyanka. Okay. So I don't know whether you can unmute or not. I think that there is some settings that everyone is on mute mode. However, Priyanka, let me tell you, I know that you are very, yeah, I can understand that in from the settings, it is given that you cannot mute. So, okay, that's not a problem. So, Cano Shield is something, Kono Shield is actually something which is basically a form of primitive art. So when you are going for research on that primitive art and architecture basis, okay, so you will be able to know that how is that primitive art happening, what is the background, what is the context, and the search process I have already given in the PDF itself. So Priyanka, I think that now I am able to know Priyanka Ganguly. Okay, so Priyanka, I hope that I am able to make you understand that what is Kono Shield. Kono Shield is nothing, it is actually a type of a art form. Yeah, thank you. And Priyanka Verma ma'am, can you please write your question here? Priyanka Verma ma'am, Okay. If my sample is 9, the class students, and schools are not giving me permission to collect data, right? Okay, so you have to basically take the background. You will have to take the background of that school, and of course, this is totally a controversial issue because here, Priyanka ma'am, you will have to convince the school. Okay, so if your sampling technique is this, then it is not possible for us actually to know that if the schools, you will have to approach and you will have to convince them first. And otherwise, you will have to see that what is the background of that study. If you are not going through the background and going by that study, you will have to make them understand that you are really interested for that. And as a result of that, this process to collect the data will become more easy for you. I hope that, of course, I told you that you will have to convince them first, then you will have to give them letters, and then you will have to give some online presentation that you are really working on that. No, then you will have to make a presentation, you will have to make them understand, you have to do a Google Meet meeting, so that the schools become interested. You have done a lot of things, I can understand, but it will be more attractive for you if you have to convince them in a way, because there is not other way, or you will have to go to the other higher authority. Because if they are not giving you the permission, then it becomes very important for each and everyone. Okay, so that here it becomes very pertinent, because there is some legal issues also. If you are not taking totally the help of the school in a permission angle way, then they can also take legal steps against you. So if it is totally related on the school, okay, so it is not possible for you, then you have to change that angle and go for the colleges or other higher levels. And my experience was good then. Maybe your experience is not good. I have given a PPT presentation. I have convinced the college authorities, and then they agreed, because some of them don't believe that we are doing it very seriously. And Priyanka ma'am, I am telling you that if there is some rule or guidelines from CBSE, then you find out if there is really a rule for that. So if there is really a rule for that, then we cannot help. But if the rule is not there, if they are telling it, then you can show that that rule is not there. First, you will have to search. Then you will have to show them the document. You will have to convince them in any of the process. Then you have to show them the document, ma'am. Otherwise, it is not possible, because they can take some legal actions, no? If they are doing it in their own manner, so you will have to change the interdisciplinary research angle. Then you cannot help it. That is actually the last stage. You have tried a lot, but unfortunately, it has not happened. Anyway, we will now move to the next slide. And thank you so much to both Priyanka madams to actually interact with me, because it becomes very easier for the authorities to know it in a very good way. So now we will have to search the books in the catalog. If we are going for the books in the catalog, we will have to see that there are different search terms and what are the Benin art and sculpture, the Benin and kings, Nigeria and ritual. If we are going for some ritual, you will have to see that what are the rituals, what are the observations, what are the books that you will be able to get. Okay. Now, articles from the databases, as you all know, that we can get a lot of articles from the databases, and there we will be having a lot of articles where we will be having this abstract thinking or abstract ideas. Now, these abstract ideas are very much important because when we are writing a paper, we write the abstracts also. Okay, so these abstracts are very much important, and these articles you will be able to read and understand. Also, this is the JSTOR website. As you can see, this is the JSTOR website where you will find a lot of articles. Even if you are not getting the full paper, you are getting the abstracts. Okay. So there you will be having a difficult time searching though, but when you are actually narrowing your search, you will be able to see that lot of articles and ideas have come into your head or into your research idea. So it becomes very important. Now, these are some of the tips for searching for books, articles, websites. So it starts with a general keyword search, you can search the dictionary also with subject headings, works. You have to try to think of different terms to describe your topic. You have to think of the subject headings in the catalog and databases. You have to see that what all you have to get. Okay. So these are some of the things which are very important and pertinent. And there are other helpful hints also. Like you have to search some of the libraries like SCAD Edu. Many of you do not know the resources. What is the scholarly resources? What is the popular resources? Because popular resources are also very much important. More than the scholarly resources, you can also find parallelly the popular resources. Then journals who are researching a topic, it is very much important for each and every context. Okay. And at the same time, writing the art history paper, art history writing guide, these are all which are very important. And as a result of that, we find that lot of things for art history we find from the Dartmouth College, which is very important. We find from the Wesleyan University, it is also very important. And we find a lot of helpful hints in the context of this so that we will all be able to know that what is there and what is the other source, which is very important. So, if you have, this is the part one of my presentation, which I have finished. If you have anything to ask right now, you can please ask me. I have no problem with that. Otherwise, I will be going for your research proposal writing in the qualitative way that how you will be writing. No, Priyanka, as I have told you that in the JSTOR, you will not be able to get all the research papers. Only in the research gate, if someone is actually referring you, you will be able to become a research gate member. So you will have to find out some scholarly persons or some links which are there, and ResearchGate nowadays it becomes very easy to become a ResearchGate member. But for the JSTOR member, that's why I have told you that JSTOR you will have to only see the abstract to see the idea. Understood? You can only see the abstract, that what is there, and get the idea. From the abstract also, Priyanka, you will be able to get a lot of ideas. Let me tell you. Even from the topic itself, you will have to relate to that. You cannot deal with that same topic as someone has taken that topic already. You know that in the research angle. So in the JSTOR, if you are seeing the title and the abstract only, that is also very good. I hope, Priyanka, I have answered. Okay, but research go get nowadays it becomes very easy. So you can try for the research gate. For the research gate, you will be getting a lot of full papers. Understood? Anyone who has any questions, please let me know so that I will be able to give you an answer, or I will be now, because I am liking this session. You know why? Because we all are interacting. Even if you cannot speak, at least you are interacting. And this is very important. This is very important for all of us because it becomes a very easy angle that when we are interacting, even Priyanka Verma ma'am, I won't be able to help you, but at least she has shared with me that problem. So that is something which is very important for all of us, you know, because it becomes very important for all of us at least to interact. If you are only listening, if you are only listening, then it becomes very much important. And of course, if you are not listening to me properly, how would I know that you are actually going in a very proper way? Because you have to give the presentation, right? And we are taking the presentation very seriously, let me tell you. Don't think that this is some type of a presentation where we are only telling, only Chamostri ma'am is telling only to make you frightened. And at least I take the presentation very seriously. Okay, so we will be evaluating the presentation. We will be doing the needful in a very proper way so that it will be able to give us fruitful results. Otherwise, what is the purpose of this workshop is not to give you a certificate. The purpose of this workshop is also to make you learn. Please remember that. We are not here to only make you know and believe and give you lectures. So, and Chandan sir, let me tell you one thing. You have given a very chat in the chat box. You have written that everyone, you have requested rather that everyone should be sharing the PPT presentation and all that. But let me tell you that all of the research participants, those who are here, I am not telling you, I am telling to all of you. Maybe it is not possible for each and everyone of the resource persons to share the PPT, but I will be sharing my own PPT. I have already shared the part 1. I will be sharing the part 2 also. Okay, you be rest assured. I always share my PPTs with the participants. So whenever I am there, and that's why or rather we from the organizing committee have given the option of recording. We are actually sharing the recording so that you can save it, you can subscribe to the channel. Even if you are not getting the presentation, then you will be most welcome to do that. In the long run, you will be able to see that recording. You will have to see that what is going on. I hope Chandan San and all the participants, it is understood by you. So now I will be going to the part 2. Okay, and which is very important. So you all should be very careful. Many of you might be very busy and leaving the meeting, but this is the part of the research proposal writing process which I am giving. Okay. So first of all, when you are writing this proposal, you will have to choose a group. Or when you are going for the ethnographic research, you will have to choose a group. So it is generally best to choose a group which one has access to or good potential for access. Priyanka Verma ma'am, I am also telling to you because you have faced a very bad situation. So, of course, this one has potential where he will be able to give you your gestures or friendly ways or ideas. That is something where you will be able to access, you will have to deal with that research. A bad choice or group may make the task impossible, or it may make your life miserable like you have faced. Okay. So that is why anything which is a bad choice should not be entertained. Now, step two, you have to decide on that particular problem. You have to know about the group. You can change the direction. You should start with a direction, but you cannot change a plan until you first make a plan. So you have to make a particular plan. For example, I am telling you one thing. You please note it. Don't take it at your heart. When you are going into the study of some schools, for example, and Priyanka ma'am, I am telling you, you first should check the background that whether they are interested or not. If you are not checking the background, if the school has given any type of things, I can understand that you cannot choose yourself, but you have to do a background study that which educational institutions are interested. If the schools are not interested, you have to move to a different educational sector. For example, some of the NGOs are running some of the schools. You can approach them. Okay, I can understand that you cannot choose your way, but that you will have to do a background check. Okay, then one thing you will have to do, to let me tell you, you have to choose a plan of action. Okay, so you have to choose a plan of action. That is, you have to go for the interviews. You will have to go for the literary research. You will have to go for the observation, which I have told you from the very beginning. You will have to go for the number of informants who are going for that. For the triangulation process, type of interviews, it is very important. Okay. At the same time, we will have to see that what are the types of interviews which we will be having to know. So this is informal, this is unstructured, semi-structured or structured. Okay. So for ethnographic research, most interviews should be unstructured or semi-structured. Okay. So this is actually the semi-structured way when you are actually making friendship with them and you are taking the sources from them. So the small group, one-to-one or focus groups, you will have to see that what are the things which is very important, which is very pertinent. So you will have to see those clusters who will be able to help you in a very proper way. And you should take it first in a very good angle so that it will be very important for you in the long run. Now you will have to find a very good informant. Now, how you are going to get a good informant? That informant you will have to back check, you will have to know, you will have to materialize the term. It is actually a knowledgeable way embedded in the culture. The informant should be articulate, at the same time you should also be articulate. At the same time, the person who is doing that, it is actually he or she should be a gatekeeper. That means he or she is not actually giving too much information. At the same time, they should also be very much firm. So that ethnographic research becomes very important. So it is, they are also willing to share the culture, willing to help the researcher having access to others. Like for example, I can say that many of us have faced a lot of bad situations, but we will be able to see that who is there to share the culture, who is the friendly person, who will be sharing the culture, who is willing to help the researcher. So we will have to do a lot of background source, lot of check. And another thing, we cannot manipulate the data. Okay, so as it is also written by Priyanka ma'am in the manipulation of data, we will have to move to other materials, other sources if someone is not at all cooperating with us. We will have to see that what are the other types of searches. As I have told you that ethnographic research or qualitative research, everyone should know that it is not easy. Everyone thinks that quantitative research, it is actually nothing. Savitri Mathur, I would request you to please stop presenting. Why you are presenting, I don't know. Now my presentation is actually overlapping. Savitri Mathur, are you there? Savitri Mathur, you please stop presenting the screen. Are you there, Savitri Mathur?
Ma'am, I have removed Sabitri Mathu.
Okay.
You can now you can continue.
So is the screen visible or I will have to share again?
Ma'am, please share again.
Just a minute. When someone is overlapping with these things, it becomes very difficult for the presenter. And everyone should know about this discipline. I don't know how many times we will have to share these things. Even when we have crossed 2 years.
Yes,
So
now
as
visible.
yes, so as we were types of interviews were there, so we will be having a lot of things which are very much important, very much pertinent for all of us. Okay. So as we are already there, we will be having to find a good informant, knowledgeable, embedded in the culture. I have already told he or she should be a gatekeeper, willing to share the culture, willing to help researcher have access to others. Okay. At the same time, what does a good informant do? A good informant is still just only one perspective. You will also have to get a lot of perspectives, like 3 to 5 good sources of information should be there, and it should be very much valuable. And a great deal of similarity between a good informant and a man of peace. Someone who is very much peaceful, at the same time good informant. You should not depend on only one person. You will have to depend on 3 to 5 persons. So you often need to choose a group based on ability of a good informant. Sometimes the gatekeeper is a separate person from a good informant. So the gatekeeper who is also looking after the culture of that particular tribe, for example, is also someone which is not a good informant. So you should separate one person as a gatekeeper of that culture. You should make a separate person your source as a good informant. I hope I have made you understand. Now, step 5, we will have to interact with the community, and you will have to interact with all of them using all your senses. You will have to be open-minded, non-judgmental. Okay, you should not preach. Let me tell you, this is one of the experiences many of the teachers have faced, basically, professors, teachers, and anyone who is basically in the teaching mode. If you don't like anything in your one-to-one interview process in ethnographic research or as a whole qualitative research, or as a whole, if you are not liking the fact, please do not preach, because you are from a different culture. You have come here only to do your own work, to take your own sources. You are here to learn. You are not here to actually study. You are here to actually take the information. You have not come here for debates. So please do not preach them. And be careful how you take the notes. Someone may not be liking taking your notes. So if you are not having a good memory, then you will have to make that recording mode active. You will have to take permission from them. You have to take the recording, because many of them may not be liking that. What many of the persons are having a good memory. So many of them in their culture, they may not be liking that you are taking the notes and not paying attention to them. And ultimately, you come out as a learner. You have not come there to preach. Please remember that. So interact with the community and all. Another thing, when you are doing this research, you think before you speak. Especially with a particular culture, with a particular tribe, if you are interacting, it deals also with anthropology. You think before you speak, like truth, helpful, important, necessary, kind. You use these words very much carefully, because is it true? Is it helpful? Is it important? Is it necessary? Is it kind? No, not at all. Please try to do it in a very proper way so that they don't take it into their heart. Sometimes outsiders say something which they take it from the heart. Please remember that. Okay. So values of ethnographic research and diagram, it breaks down misunderstandings, open doors for them to learn from us, open doors for us to learn from them. Discussion, is this last point good? Is this last point dangerous? So these are some of the things, which are some of the values which you should know, which you should understand. Okay. At the same time, we should remember when we were children, we were instructed by mature individuals in the community. If you go back, you remember that your parents, your guardians, your teachers did a lot of things like rules and regulations. So you should also have to follow those regulations. Please remember that if we are going for a tribe visit, we are their guests, we are not hosts. So we should not do that process. So we are in search of truth from their perspectives. And we are not parasites, we freely give and freely and gratefully receive. This is actually one of the words from Bible also. Okay, so this is something which you should know, you should understand. You should follow some rules from your own angle. And compile and analyze your data in your own manner. For example, folk language, find out what they mean by certain words or phrases. How is the day spent? Physical map, important places in their culture, socio-economic information, felt needs, felt fears, artifacts, beliefs, taxonomies. These are something which is very important. I hope that I am clear with this. And of course, you will have to do a follow-up. It is necessary for every qualitative research method, and especially in ethnographic research, that you will have to do a follow-up process. It should be necessary to revisit informants or gather additional information. You will always have to be in touch. For example, when you are going for a session with them and after 6 months, again you contact them, then they are very emotional people, especially the tribes, the semi-tribes and all this. So, of course, they might take it at heart that this person is only doing for his or her own self-interest. Okay, हम लोग हिंदी में बोलते हैं स्वार्थी, तो वो लोग हमको स्वार्थी भी समझ सकते हैं कि एक बार आके इंटरव्यू ले गए, सब कुछ कर लिया, फिर उसके 6 मंथ्स बाद और जब हमको जरूरत पड़े तो हमको फिर से वो हमको जानकारी लेना है, लेकिन बीच में उन लोगों के साथ कोई कांटेक्ट नहीं, कोई भी फोन कॉल नहीं, क्योंकि अभी सभी ट्राइब्स एक्चुअली हैव बिकम वेरी वेरी मच टेक सेवी. तो कोई ना कोई उपाय तो होगा उनके साथ मुलाकात रखने के लिए, एटलीस्ट पोस्टल मेल तो होगा. यू कैन ड्रॉप अ पोस्टल मेल, नॉट एट ऑल अ ईमेल. तो ये एटलीस्ट कोशिश कीजिए, क्योंकि वो लोग बहुत माइंड में ले लेंगे कि ये एक्चुअली ओनली अपना रिसर्च डेटा के लिए आ रहे हैं और कुछ नहीं, कुछ काम उनका नहीं है, हमारे साथ कोई कनेक्शन वो नहीं रखना चाहते. तो ये अगर करेंगे तो उस पर्टिकुलर वो सोर्स के लिए आपका कुछ काम नहीं बनेगा. प्लीज रिमेम्बर दैट. So you will have to always do the follow-up. And previous interviews also may open new areas of research. So that is something which is very important for everyone. You will have to write ethnography in introduction, in literary research, in methodology, in your summary. And of course, I have described this within brackets. It is something which is very important. And controversies or areas which are unsearched, you should also try to take the expert opinion if at all it is very important. Otherwise, it is always good to leave the controversial areas as your sources, because it becomes a lot of question and answer session in that term. And in the summary also, the future recommendations, what are the possibilities for future research for the ethnography, it is very important, and for potential application. Okay. So remember, always write in first person or third person, but always focus on the reader, who is a complete outsider to this culture. Respect confidentiality and show respect for informants and culture. Imagine that a member of this culture got hold of your paper. Okay, so you have to show respect. You cannot show disrespect to them. So if some member gets hold of that where you have shown disrespect, this will not be good for you and for the future researchers as well. So as a researcher, you carry your own responsibility. If you are paving your way for yourself, you are paving your way for the future researchers also. So if you are doing some bad thing, actually you are blocking the process for the future research. Especially for a particular tribe who is very sensitive, very emotional. Please remember that. Okay. So that is all for today. Okay. I have ended my presentation, and the last one which I have told you, it is very important for you to know and understand that this culture, this belief, this something, it is very much important for all of us to know as well as understand that this is a particular topic or a particular type of a deliberation which I have given, which has no limits. It is actually limitless. So as a result of that, I have given you a portion. Now you will have to go into your sources, into your research, into your angles. Definitely, I will be helping you by sharing the PDF of the second part, which I have taught you right now. And I am sure that you will be able to get some help. And if you have further any questions, you please let me know, because I am very much interested to take the question session. Even I am able to help you or not help you, it will become very easy for me. At least the question pattern, if you are asking me one question, it also becomes very good also for my learning process. I am a lifelong learner and I believe in the lifelong process. So I would like to open this forum for the question in the chat box. Any questions or anything you would like to say, please write in the in this chat box. And of course, it gives me very much motivation when you all are writing that it's a motivational and informating session. It also actually motivates me to do good works in the future and much more. So if you have any questions, a lot of questions and answers actually have been answered in the middle. So you may not be having a total type of a question, but definitely like to inform you one thing, that and I am here to help you. So as a result of that, if you find that if you have any questions, anything which is related to this, which is related to the way and the methods and the means which I am teaching you. Okay, so I will be very much eager and interesting to answer your queries. Okay, so I hope, Shamosri ma'am, that the participants are not having any questions. Okay,
Yes,
they
ma'am.
have, and we can
So
conclude the session, and at the
yes,
same
yes.
time we can you can also give the deliberation about the 11 to 12 session and about monotsa session tomorrow, because they should be knowing it beforehand.
Yes, yes. Tomorrow there will be two sessions. One is Shuri Pujumdar sir sessions, and second session is the Mono sir sessions. So both the sessions are very important, and you join both the sessions. I'd like to ask different link will be given, or in the same link they will be joining.
No, the different links will be given tomorrow.
Okay.
One for the first
So
session, another for the second session.
yes, yes. So, so be very much alert for for that, because there will be two different links and two different timings, and your attendance is very necessary for your presentation also, because we are preparing a list for your presentations. Those who are joining regularly, attending the course regularly, they only they will be presenting, and those who are joining once a week, we cannot allow them to present their presentation on research proposal, writing research proposal. We cannot allow them. So be very much particular about your attendance. Okay. So thank you. This is the time for vote of thanks. Thank you, Dr. Pratita Biswas, ma'am, for your nice presentation on ethnographic research. You have covered most of the areas of ethnographic research with examples, and also the book reviews, and where they the sources where they can get the informations. And also the second session was also very good, how to write ethnographic research, and what is the right proposal, how to write the research proposal on ethnographic research. You have elaborated in a very proper way, and also the question answer session was very good. Due to some technical problems, the participants could not unmute themselves, but yet they have written in their chat box, and you have answered them very well. So thank you, participants, for your nice response. And this interactive session, I think will be helpful for everyone. And thank you once again, Dr. Pratita Biswas, ma'am, and all the participants for your joining, and you have for your patience hearing for all these 3 days, and the next days also. I'll be expecting that you will be joining the next days also, and make our program a successful one. Over to you, Pratita, ma'am.
Okay, so thank you, Shamosri ma'am, for your nice words. And I will be sending the recording, ma'am. Don't worry. Dr. Sankla, I will be sending the recordings by night only. You don't worry at all, and you will be able to see. I have already sent the PPT in the group, ma'am. The part one, I will be sending the part two also just after 5 minutes of ending the session. Okay, because I have to save it in the PDF mode. It will be very easy for everything. And for everyone, I'm telling you, by tonight, we will be sending you the recordings in the group. Don't worry. Okay. So with this, as you know that please join by 11 a.m. That is, we will be opening the Google Meet floor by 10:50, sharing with you the link. Please you join there, and at the same time we will be having a second session, because tomorrow we will be having, as the research proposal day is getting closer, it is always good to get a lot of information. So first we will have Subodip Mujumdar's sir's session on academic writing, which is very important for your presentation. At the same time, in the afternoon, that is between 1:30 to 3, and don't worry, we will give you time for lunch. So you will have a lunch break, and then you will rejoin again in the afternoon. Again, 10 minutes prior, link will be given, and then Manoj sir, Professor Dr. Manoj sir, he is actually from Ethiopia. He will be joining from there online, and he will be giving a presentation on the regression model analysis. That is also very important and pertinent to the research area. Right. So thank you so much, participants. Of course, I have thanked the organizers. I am thankful to all the participants who are participating and doing the needful. In fact, my session was a very interactive session, and of course, I liked every bit of it, of basically giving that session. Otherwise, it is not possible for me to continue in a total lecture method. Okay, so it becomes very uneasy actually. I don't like actually giving a lecture method totally without any interaction. Even if it is in a chat box, it should be written. So I liked this session. You all interacted a lot. Even though I could not respond or give the help properly to Priyanka Verma ma'am, and I cannot help it, because if I would have been in your situation, maybe I should have helped you. Anyway, but still 99% cases remains and 1% remains in a negative way. That is actually the law of nature. So with this, and I thank you all. I thank also Shamastri Shur ma'am for always supporting me and supporting us, and being a very well-read moderator also. And with this, we end this session for today. We will definitely catch up tomorrow at 10:45 to 10:50 with the link. Thank you all, and thanks to all of you. We will be ending the meeting right now. And I will be, of course, sharing the PDF within 5 to 10 minutes. Right? Thank you so much. Thank you all.